Fine. So yesterday, fine, we had seen was this, right? That list is an ordered collection of elements, and so the difference from set or a collection here is collection anyway is more general. Fine. It's all subtypes of the collection only. So difference from set as far as list is concerned, list uses indexes, and similar, more closer to the array. Okay. The difference from array would be that yes, in array you have to use the operators, right? There are array operators which are available, whereas list is an interface and you'll find methods here. Okay, find methods to do similar things as what you do with an array. Okay, in fact you will have more methods here. Fine. One other difference, yes, what is the other difference between list and an array? Fixed size. Arrays have a fixed size, whereas list, fine, it depends. Fine, you can increase the size. Fine, it will automatically grow. The size will automatically grow. Okay, fine. An implementation of list may be similar to what we have done earlier in our account class. Fine, what we have done for managing the passbook. Fine. See, it would not. It's not restricted by any size for the passbook, right? And for a user, right? See, from a user's perspective, right? It's like he doesn't know what's being used, whether it's for managing the elements in the passbook. Okay. Fine. So same thing here. If you use a list internally, a list may still be using the array. Okay. Fine. And how it can still manage, because the arrays are fixed size. Okay, we have seen how it can be done. Right? We have seen with the code for adding a transaction in a passbook. Fine. Each time you try to add, it will always do a check. Okay. Fine. And if size is not sufficient, reallocate, copy and continue. Class. We have done so much in this class that we should continue with that. Yeah. Okay, fine. Okay, so now let's look at, so yeah, list. Another thing is, list is a type of collection only. So all methods of collection are available for the list. Okay, fine. So yeah, let's now look at the methods, and currently we are only looking at the abstract methods. Okay, there are additional default methods as far as list is concerned, and even for the set you will find that there are some static methods, and static methods are also available. So we'll come back to those static methods. The static methods have been provided so that we can create some kind of list or set. Fine. How to create a list or a set. Fine. One thing currently, what if you have to have a list or a set currently would be, or we should be calling the constructor of a class which implements this interface. Okay. Fine. So list inherits methods of collection and has additional methods which will use indexes. Right? So mainly the additional methods are more related to the indexes. Okay, fine. So quickly, right? So we can have a look at abstract methods. The list interface. Okay, so if there is a list of E, some element type E, okay, what are the methods we'll have? You are inheriting. So let's include the methods which you already know from the collection. Simple methods will be, simple operations will be to add, okay, So we had the public boolean, right? The boolean add method, and you would pass an element e as a parameter. Okay, so where will it add? Now it is based, this is having indexes, right? So it is like appending at the end of the list. When in collection there was no order, so here now yes, index positions are there, so whenever you add only at the end. Okay, but this is overloaded, right? So you have this method being overloaded. Okay, so you can use add and specify the index so that it can insert at that position. Fine, so you can be inserting at an index position, right? Of course this will throw an exception if you give indexes which is negative or you give more than the size. Fine, so you should be able to add. We have already got a method to remove the element. Right? We have this method where we can pass any object so that it will use the equals method, locate the object and remove. This is from the collection. Okay, now we also have a method, right? And this method returns the element which is being removed. Okay, name of the method is remove, but it takes as parameter the index. So you can remove from an index position and get that object also. Okay, it returns the object, right? But the object gets removed from the list. Okay, yeah, what were the other methods? Yeah, we had the method to return the size, so that would still be there. Yeah, what else? We had the method to return, right? So these methods are anyway there, right? Okay, and is empty. We would have the method to return that returns void, name of the method being clear. And these were the simple operations. There are few more based on the indexes now. Okay, fine. What is the additional thing? Since now we are maintaining by indexes, compare it with the array. In array, what are the method? What are the kind of operations we'll do? On an index position, get what is there at a particular index position. So of course, so we will have a method to return get and parameter will be the index. What else? Set. Right? So we have a method called set which takes index and the element to be set there. Okay. Yeah. That is size. Okay. So there's no length, but here we have the size. In array, yes, it's a length. Length not as a method, but as a variable. Okay, fine. So simple operations will be like this, right? We had the array operations. Yeah, what were the, so array operations we understand? Yeah, what were the array operations? It's the same, there's nothing additional in the array operations. Method to return object array, there's no difference. We are just repeating. Name of the method is toArray. And another one where for a type parameter t, right, it would return array of t. Name of the method is toArray, but you need to pass a array as a parameter, right? So array of t as a parameter. So that's an array. And so this we have seen yesterday, right? How it should be working. Yeah, what other? Iteration. Okay, so iteration related things. Yes, one is iterator of e. We have this iterator method. Okay, additionally, we even have another type of an iterator which extends the iterator. Okay, fine. So this is specifically since we have a list where indexes are managed, right? Okay, so the iterator which is working on an underlying collection as opposed to find was only in case of a list, because of the indexing thing. It is also possible because if you look at that iterator, it would always go in one direction. So this is a bidirectional now, an iterator which is bidirectional. Okay, so this is nothing but we have a method to return a list iterator. There's a method called ListIterator of E. Sorry. So we have this method called ListIterator. Okay. We even have a method to return the ListIterator. Okay. Where you are saying, okay, give me the iterator, the ListIterator to be created from this index onwards. So anything before this index, don't include in the ListIterator. Okay, the ListIterator is the one which is extending from iterator, and it's a extension of the iterator further. Okay, see what were the methods in iterator? Okay, let's put the methods of ListIterator. Okay, the methods. Okay, I'll just put extends from iterator of E. Okay. Iterator, we understand those three methods were there. Okay, what was the method? Public method to return Boolean. Method name was has next. Okay, now when I say it's bidirectional, what we'll have? So we even have a method called has previous. Okay, we had the method to return E, name of the method was next. We now also have a method to return E, name of the method is give me the previous element. Okay, fine. Now see, when you are going to use the next method or the previous method, fine, in the underlying list, that element which you will get if you use the next method is at a particular index position. It has an index position. So we even have methods like this. We have a method to return int, fine. The method is next index. And same way we have a method to return int, name of the method is previous index. Okay, so a bidirectional thing, right? Okay, fine. Yeah, just one more thing. Yesterday there was a small mistake when we were writing the methods of the iterator. Fine. What was the one more method in the iterator? Method name was remove. When you could remove an element, examine. See, we had written while that iterator has next, if that account balance was less than 0, we would like it to be removed. And then we discussed that we shouldn't be removing from the collection directly, but we should be calling the iterator's remove method. Okay, so yes, that remove method, the return type, I think I've given it as E, but it is actually return type is void. So we have that remove method also, right, which is coming from there. But other than remove, we have two additional methods for ListIterator. Okay, see, iterator methods, if I have to indicate where they are, yeah, here this is iterator. Okay, and this is from iterator. Okay, this is from iterator, and this is from iterator. Three methods from iterator. Okay, but other than this, yes, we still also have a method called, like, you can remove an element. Now it's based on indexes, right? So when I say remove, what will be removed? See, there is some more thing when we talk of a list iterator. It all depends on what was the last operation you did to fetch an element. unless you have fetched an element, you can't be calling a remove. If you have not done a next or a previous, you can't be calling a remove. Even in a iterator, you have not done a next, then there's no current object. Okay, there's no current object. So when we say remove, it removes the current object from the underlying list. Fine. Same way, so just like we can remove, we can also say, oh, let's add an element here. Okay, so you can pass an element. There's no indexes or anything. Where will it be inserted? The iterator is at some index position currently. It will be inserting there. Okay, fine. And same way, we even have a method to set. Yeah, a set. That is, you don't have to specify indexes. Okay. And so these are methods to replace whatever was the last fetched element, right? Whatever is my current element, it was at an index position. That's a place where this will be set. Okay. Fine. So updating. So these what we have in list iterator is it's a bidirectional. Okay. And other thing is we have all three kinds of updates. Okay. Insert, update, and remove. Right. We know that, right? Standard things. So those are available for the list iterator. So this is so this was related to the list iterator. Okay, I think I'll push them a little. Okay, fine. It's not for the list; it's for the list iterator. Okay, fine. We can continue with the other methods of the list. Okay, a few other simple operations. I can call them include them before the array operations maybe. We even have a few more methods which can give us, okay, we even can have a list of E. There is a method called sublist where you specify an index that's a start index and another integer for the end index. So it's similar to a string, like we have a method called substring. We have a method called sublist. Okay, fine. So it will be a new list created from starting at this index in the current list, whatever elements are there, up to end, but not including the end. Okay, fine. Just the way substring works for a string. String is made up of character. Think of character as the elements, right? Fine. Yeah.
Sir, is there any replace method in the list?
Which method?
Replace.
No, no, no. There is a set method. Replace is the set method. You want to replace a single element. Yes, single element can be replaced with the help of set method at an index position. Okay, and so if you are looking for replacement, yes, replace at an index position. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we have the sublist also, right? Yeah. Okay. What else? Something inspired from the string. Okay. We have a method to return int value. Okay. The method name is index of. It takes the object, right? Give it any object, so it will search for this object in the list and give you the first available index. Okay, fine. We even have the method called last index of. Okay, given any object, yes, it will search, but starting from, it is from right to left. Fine. This last index of is searching in the right to left. Right? So these are additional methods, but you can see these are more inspired from the string. Okay. Fine. Okay, and then of course this list iterator is there. How to create list iterator? This is how you create list iterator. Okay, so list iterator anyway extends from the iterator. Okay, so that should be fine. Okay, what other methods were there? Oh, we had that bulk operations. What were the bulk operations? We had a method to return boolean. Name of the method was add all, right? And it would take as parameter a collection of, because it's inheriting, it will have that, right? Question mark extends e. Okay, fine, that's the other collection. Okay, so you can give a collection as a parameter to the add all method. It would return boolean, right? Oh, fine. And now what we also have is another method to return void, but this method would also take a index. Okay, so you can now also use an index, insert all the elements of another collection from this point onwards. Okay, so it's inserting all the elements from another, it could be a list or any other collection. Okay, fine. So this is now using index, so based on index. Okay, so this one would always add at the end. Okay, fine. Okay, so add all. What were the other things? Because other methods do not change. There's no additional thing related to that now. Okay, so we have Boolean method returns. The name of the method was remove all. Okay, which would take a collection as a parameter. Okay, so that's the other collection. Okay, and similarly we have the retain all, contains all, returning boolean. Okay. So these are the methods of the list. Fine. So list clear? Okay. Okay. There are some static methods available to create a list. Okay. One more thing. Yeah. Suppose now I'm going for find something like this. Let's say we have this account class. Okay. Fine. We understand we have this public class account. Okay. Fine. Could be any other class also, but the point here is you are having a method. You have various other elements are there, but you also have one private variable called, the type is array of transaction. Okay, and we have called it as passbook. Okay, equal to, and of course we have done something here, right? Right. Now, just like, we have other private variables, and whenever we have a private variable, we may be using, and we have a tendency to return, to have a method to return the object. Okay, like we have a public string get name method. So we might also like to have a method, public method returns a transaction array, returns a transaction array. Fine. And we say, okay, get passbook. The method is get passbook. Yeah. How would you like to write this method? Suppose you are supposed to return an array of transactions called get passbook. Is it a good idea to return? That's the first thing. Okay, how would you write the code for this? Return, yeah. What would you do for this? Return what? Would you like to write return this dot passbook? Yeah, that's a normal tendency you'll have, right? But then this breaks your encapsulation. This breaks your encapsulation. When you understand this now, clear? It is understood how this is not a good idea. You may still like to have a method which says get passbook, but don't return the passbook which you are using. Why? If that was the case, if you're always returning this object, then why not someone put a public itself here itself, right? There's no difference then. You're returning the object which is now someone could then be using like this, right? That okay, oh, you have someone writing a method public static void main, maybe he has got an account object. In some way he might have obtained the account object, and then he'll say, okay, let me have ac.get passbook, okay, and let me create a let me put a new transaction over here, okay, get passbook, and at array index position 0, okay, because that's an array. This is an array. At index position 0, let me yeah, okay, at index position 0 equal to, and let me use a new transaction, and I'll call some constructor here, whatever I want, and it will be getting updated. We don't want this to happen, right? So what, still suppose someone says, oh, you need to do this, right? You need to return all the transactions. What would be the solution for this? Return no, iterator, but I am supposed to return an array. Use the arrays.copy of. You are not giving the object which you manage. It's your array is different from the array which you have given to the in the return. So he may do whatever he wants with the array which I have given. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect the account object. Yeah, if you have any variable which is a data structure and it is mutable, okay, then don't use a return for that. You're keeping variable private, a data structure is saying, oh, this is private, but you are having a method which is returning that. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, don't return the object. Okay, a data structure which you have. So it's not only about the account class, any class whenever you write, you have some data structures. Okay, don't you may have a method which returns the same type of thing, right? But then you are not returning that object. Don't say return this dot passbook or return passbook like this. Fine, clear? You understand why it is not to be done. Okay, so then we'll say arrays dot copy of, and here I think there were first parameter would have been that. So copy of this dot passbook and comma. I think it may have been overloaded. Otherwise, this dot passbook dot length, and the new size you can always give anyway. So something like this is better than just saying return this dot passbook. Okay, fine. So don't do. Okay, And I'll put the other code also. Fine. So this would have been a code, but that's to be avoided. Okay. Fine. Okay, so on similar lines, okay, now on similar lines, you may need to, right? So at many places, the data structure here was an array, but instead of an array, you might have a set, you might have a list. You might be managing a list or a set. Okay, in such a case also, you would be wanting to return something which is not modifiable by the other user. Okay, he should be, you see, returning this array, he's not going to affect what I'm having, right? Okay, fine. So now some static methods. Now I'll just use a few static methods. Okay. Fine. So one of the methods here is so we have the public static method. Okay. Returns, in case of set, it will return the set of E. Okay. Yeah. It has a type parameter E. Name of the method is copy of. And it will take a collection of. So given any collection, okay, yeah. Okay. So that's your other collection which you decide. So from a collection, you should be, so this is in the set. Okay. And exactly similar thing in the list. So a static, fine. So okay. And you should be able to create so this should be returning a list. In the list, there is a static method to return list. Method name is copy of, you give any collection. Right? So from that collection, of course, when you use a copy of and you're passing a collection, if the collection has duplicates, right, the size of the set will be less. Okay. Okay, what else? So other methods are also there. You could create, so one thing, yeah, what is returned in this collection, in this set here, is an unmodifiable set. What is returned here is unmodifiable. Okay, the list returned here is unmodifiable. What it means, it is unmodifiable? Calling a get or a set method or a add method or a remove method would throw unsupported operation exception. Okay, the list which I am returning here, fine, in the copy of method is going to throw that. Fine. Now there are other ways of creating this unmodifiable list or unmodifiable set. Okay, fine. So we have other public and static methods, fine, with some type parameter E, okay, to return a set of E. Okay, name of the method is off. So you can say, okay, so if I use this, it's going to create an empty set, and that's unmodifiable. You can't add, remove, or do anything on this. You can only fetch the elements. Okay, but when you use the fetch method, oh, there's no element in this. So one option is to create an empty set is like this. But always, all these methods, static methods which I'm mentioning, they are for they are all returning unmodifiable. Okay, whatever is returned here is unmodifiable. Okay, returns an unmodifiable set. Okay, fine. What else? Okay, so we have one more concept to understand. We'll soon come to one. There's another static method, okay, to return a set of E. Name of the method is off, okay, but the parameter is E. What is this dot dot dot? Do we understand what is this dot dot dot? It's not a dot 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 from my side. It's part of the Java syntax. The three dots are the Java syntax. Okay, what it means, right? Okay, let's try to understand this. This we call as varargs. Okay, this is nothing but your varargs. Okay, the three dots are for the varargs. Okay, so Java has got varargs available from Java 5 onwards. Okay, from Java 5 onwards, we have varargs available. Okay, let's understand with an example. Okay, but before I proceed, just one more thing. I'll just copy these three. They are going to be available even for the list. Returning the unmodifiable version. Okay, these are nothing but unmodifiable list. Right? So the list returned by the off method is unmodifiable. You have picked up some elements and created a list. You got an array, you want to convert into a list. This is the option. Use the off method. Okay. What is this dot dot? Fine. Let's look at varargs. Okay. So what is this concept of varargs? Fine. Let's understand first. Okay. So when we write a method or a constructor, wherever we have a parameter, right? Some kind of parameters, we provide it in a method or in a constructor, right? So whenever we have to give parameters in a constructor or a method, okay, we can, okay, let's consider one of the methods which we have already used. And we have this class called formatter, has a method called format, as well as we can even go for the printf method. So we have the print stream class. Okay, there is this class called print stream. System.out is of type print stream. Okay, we use the method called printf. It's here. So printf is the method of print stream. And what's the method signature? Let's look at that. Return type void. Name of the method is printf. What's the parameter? First parameter is a string, which is nothing but your format string. Okay, so give me the formatting. How do I do the formatting? This string will contain percentage something, right? Oh, we have used this printf in our print passbook. Now tell me, what's the next parameter? Some kind of value can be provided. Any type of value it could be. Could be a string type, could be an int type. So whenever we find it could be any type, the easiest thing is to say object. The type would be object. The question is how many parameters, how many objects? So this is okay, object 1, then what? How many parameters can we have after the string? Any number. Fine. Could be any number, any, fine. It's not known. Fine. We just want to keep it open-ended. Okay, whatever the size may be. Right? That's where we use the values which you want. Okay, that's how the printf method is. Keeping 3 dot means, okay, you can have any number of parameters here. When you invoke this method, you will find any number of parameters. So for invocation, yeah, when we say printf, when any number means 0 to n. You can have even 0 parameters here. So there's only one parameter, that's a string. Oh, we have done that also, right? When we did the hello world first time, there was no percentage something, no parameters needed, right? The format string didn't have anything except for a fixed string. Okay, fine, not expecting parameters to be formatted. Right? So it could be any number of parameters. Okay, now just think about the implementation to be written for this, right? Suppose someone has to write the implementation of this. You've got 2 parameters, one is string, other is values. You want to know what is the first value. First of all, you want to know how many values are there. What's the first value? What's the second value? What's the third value? Right? What are all those parameters? That's what will be needed in the method, right? The one who is writing the method. How will he know that? See, what is happening here is when you have a method like this, okay, if you have a method like this, which has a varargs, okay, one more rule about the varargs is the varargs is a parameter which can be only the last parameter. You can't have any other parameter after a vararg parameter. You can't have some other parameter. Once you have said varargs, since the size is not known, you are only allowed to use vararg as a last parameter. Okay, no other parameter after the vararg. Right? Okay, now what exactly happens is if you are invoking this method, right, how we are invoking the method, we are saying printf and we would give some string, okay, and whatever it may have been, right? Okay, some string, and then fine, we don't know how many parameters you'll have, so you may pass some parameters here, okay, x comma y comma z, or fine, comma a comma b comma c, fine, whatever may be the case, right? So if you have done something like this, what it is actually doing is, okay, it finds that yes, we have a printf which takes a string as parameter, that's fine, okay, but there is a variable argument over there. So what should I do? How do I, so though you write a method invocation like this, it will become a method invocation which is nothing but, or that has a parameter of type object array. So it says, okay, this is new, the parameter is object, right? So it says new object braces. This is how it is invoked. Though you may be writing like this, it's invoked like this. That means the elements, the variable are, see, this is variable arguments, x, y, z, a, b, c, whatever you have, they'll be put into an array and then the method is invoked. So wherever the method says I have dot dot dot, right, it means it's receiving an array. Okay, so you can know values dot length. Use that like an array. That's an array. Triple dot is nothing but indicating an array, giving a flexibility for the invoker not to create an array, but enumerate the elements of the array. And just put the elements which you will like to pass in that array. Okay, you don't have to create an array. The compiler takes care of converting it into an array and then invoking the method. Yeah, So that's a varargs. So it's nothing. So if someone says dot dot dot, it means that's the array which is being received. And of course, if you have an array and you want to invoke and pass it as an array, you are free to do that. You can also pass array. Okay. Yeah. And since there is a second parameter, the array has always got to be passed. It will be, so this has actually two parameters. One is a string, other is the array. For invoker, he seizes that, oh, there are any number of arguments I might be passing. And for the user, it's like this, right? The one who is writing the method code, he looks at it as a, this is an array. I'll be receiving an array here. Yeah? See, it's always possible for you to, when we write that public static void main, we could have said string. That's fine. It's an array. Okay, fine. So now I think now you get this. What's happening here? Someone wants to create a list by just enumerating all the elements which you would like to have in the list. So list of and specify the elements, or if you have an array, you can use that also. Right? Clear? Converting into a, so these are another thing, remember, all these static methods are returning a unmodifiable list. Yeah. Okay, these are returning the unmodifiable types, right? Okay, that's for the okay. And so these are unmodifiable objects, the list or the set. Right? So it's a immutable type, in the sense that you can't be adding, setting, getting. No such things can be done. Add, remove, no, not allowed. On the list which you get by using the method copy of or the of methods. And here. When clear about the varargs thing, yeah. Okay. Fine. So some static methods of the set, list, set and list.